Hello. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's Pick a Read. The Pick a Read question for this week is, what should I reconsider? So maybe you have something in mind, maybe you don't, maybe you're just curious if there is something you should reconsider. Let's go with it. So if you have something in mind, go with that. Just pick a stone based on what you're thinking about, if it's a person or a situation. If you're just kind of open to it, like what is it that I maybe should, just whatever stone looks good to you, go with it and see what happens. For the tarot portion, I'm going to be using Vision Quest Tarot. And you should be able to see Guyan S. Winter and Joe Doze. I'm probably butchering the names. I do that so easily. But that's why I want it here, so you can see the spelling of it clearly. If you want that information to find those people or that deck, there you go. The first supporting oracle cards are Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. She has a Halloween oracle. I don't know where I put it. I want to use it, but I don't know where I put it. And Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish is the other oracle card I'm going to use here. I really have no idea where I put those. I have a lot of decks, though. So, I'm going to... I already shuffled them, but I could shuffle them a little more. Like, how are we going to start this? I think we're going to shuffle these a little bit. Okay. I'm going to do 5 piles. You know, I think I'm going to put that there. And then we're going to... Okay, so maybe I'll keep one of these cards on the top. Seems like a good idea for some reason, so we'll just go with it. Yeah, I'm gonna reorganize these at the end. So if you want to go through the whole thing and wait until I've shuffled everything and put it down, I just wanted people to see it. For some reason, for me anyway, sometimes it helps me feel out where I really want to choose or what's really the message for me. Let's go here. Alright, there's that. Here's the last one. So I apologize if this is this is too long, but for some reason I feel like it's necessary, so I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. So put this back on top. And I'll put this on top. I wouldn't normally do that, but for some reason it just feels right this time, so I will go with it. And it's just the top card that you can see, but it's funny because I think it's misleading sometimes, because who knows what's under this deck? Who knows what other cards are going on there? That might just be like how you're feeling about it currently. It might be the indicator, something like that. And now the last pieces. Alright, so this, yes, that. Okay, so we pull back so you can see them. So that way you can look them over. You can't even see the pictures. I took the time to make sure you could see them, so let's do this too. See if we can do that. Are you going to be able to see this one if I do this one this way? I would also say don't let the cards scare you. Who knows what's under them? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So there's the 5 choices. I'm going to start with Citrine, then go into Rose Quartz, then I'm going to go into Lapis Lazuli, Tiger's Eye, and then Green Calcite. Alright, so I'll pull this here, move these all over to the side. And this one will go there. I just realized I left this over here. There we go. Alright, so the first one, Citrine. For those who chose Citrine, what do we have here? And that. Oh. Alright, so, and then we got this, the channeled message. Lost but doesn't know it. Oh, that's a good one. Alright, so what should you reconsider? This is somebody who, that says excess? That's interesting. It's very interesting. Like, this deck definitely has a different flavor than most. I'm getting, this is something where there's a lot of connection with somebody. Or there's been a lot of a connection. There's been a stronger connection. Something that just went wrong. This is one of those people, I feel like this is a person. I mean, if you can equate this to a situation, cool. Go with that. Go with your gut instinct. But what I'm most strongly feeling here is it's connected to a person. Somebody there's a very strong tie with. It's been a stronger tie in the past than there currently is now. They can't seem to leave your thoughts. Every now and then they just pop in. You can go, actually, I feel like a month or two and not think of this person, and then just something weird or something out of the blue, bam, you're thinking of them again. For some of you, this could be a relationship where this person has done something that makes you doubt how dedicated are they to this relationship. Something like that. And it doesn't have to be like cheating, I'm also getting. It could be something as very small as kind of like they may have made comments like they never planned to get married and maybe that's your goal. Or they never plan to own a house with anybody again. Or they have these hang-ups about these things. And they may have said things like that out of frustration or out of fear. But I'm also getting like they don't realize the effect they're having on this situation. And they're a little blind to their own problems. Especially with the lost but doesn't know it. I'm getting here that whatever this person is going through, and they're asking you to, should you reconsider this? Because that's the question. Should you or should you not? I am realizing that. It's not like just this is something you should reconsider. They're saying if you do reconsider, it's going to take a new beginning. Should you reconsider this? Especially with this Ten of Fire. This is the Ten of Wands, that's like a lot of stress. In most decks, I see it success through stress. I don't know about this one though. This feels like somebody has their back up against the wall. And it's one of those things where they don't realize that they're standing in their own way. Whoever you're thinking about, this person doesn't realize that they're literally the one standing in their own way. They want literally what you want. This person wants to be on good terms again. This person wants to fix things. I just feel like they're completely oblivious that they're the problem. And they don't realize that they're standing in their own way. They literally are. This is going to have to go into the realm of a new beginning. This isn't the sense of like somebody changing who they are. This is the sense of somebody discovering what they're doing to themselves. And it's kind of like reevaluating how they're living life. It's like they may have certain traits and characteristics, but it's kind of like, how do you talk about this? It's kind of like a baker who keeps making pies, and then they keep using like vegetables to make these pies and selling them as fruit pies. They can still make pies, but like if you keep using vegetables and calling them fruit pies, like that's really going to throw people off. If somebody sees the sign that says a fruit pie, like strawberry, apple, whatever, and then they end up with a carrot or even a sweet potato pie, even though that's sweet, but you know what I mean. They end up with something different than they're expecting. That's going to throw people off. And I feel like this is the person. Like they don't realize that they're putting out one vibe saying they want this, but what they really are putting out there is something else. They're saying they want berry pies, and they're putting out mashed potato pie, or like what do you call that? Shepherd's pie. You know what I'm saying? It's like I hope that makes sense because I feel like they're literally standing in their own way. They have to change direction. I feel like they're saying you can't do anything with this until that person sees that they're the ones in their own way. This is not a bad person is what I'm also getting. Like if you're thinking of somebody and they're physically abusive or they're doing something else, well physically especially, but like even verbally abusive, it depends I guess. Like if they can realize that they're the ones causing their own damage, I don't know. You got to be careful. Just be really thoughtful of this. If this is like an abusive person, you got to really think it out here if this is really something you need to reconsider. Like because the whole thing about this again is they need to reconsider, or this should you, question mark, should you. They have to figure out that they're the ones in their own way. Until they've figured that out, there's nothing for you to do. I would say for this one, if you chose this one, you have to come to your own God center and realize, you know what? Being there for this person if they start making a turn for the better, and it's not them changing their personality, it's them realizing that what they're getting out of life is not what they want, and they're the ones causing that pain. They're causing their own pain. If they realize that, this is worth going back. But until you see signs where they're actually making that effort and moving or turning a different direction, there's nothing here really for you to reconsider, if that makes sense. And I feel like there's probably a person, like either a lot of you are thinking of somebody, or at least it should have popped in by now, who they're talking about. They're saying until they start making strides in their own direction, until they make that change themselves, there's nothing you can do. It's just saying for now, it's not really time for you to reconsider. They do have the option to do that in the future, but they have to make that choice. So I would say be open to reconsidering, but not until you see evidence that this person is trying to own their own problems and correct their own problems. It's not about changing a personality. It's not about that at all. It's just about realizing, oh, I want this, and I keep telling people I want berry pies, and I keep making shepherd's pie, or, sweet potato pie, or whatever. You know what I mean? They want one thing, and they're putting out something else. And they have to realize that they're the ones doing that. They're the ones confusing people. I'm like, okay, anything else with that? All right, I think we're good. I'm going to let that go. I think that one's kind of hopeful. Because it's kind of saying, there are possibilities here, but it's not up to you. It's up to them first. And then if you want to be open to it, that is very good. But make sure, pay attention to what they're doing before you do that. All right, let's go into the next one. Rose quartz, which this one I think on camera looks like white. It looks very white to me. It's pink in person. It's a very pale pink, but it's there. Rose quartz. All right, what do we got here? There's the torment. I want to go up that way with these. This one goes through the whole time. And this one's in the center. And what is the message? The message is better than you think. All right, we'll put that there. Is everything in focus? Of course not. I knew it was weird. Hold on. I'm like, wait a minute. Sorry. There we go. So we're starting over here. The Nine of Air. The Nine of Air, it's funny that says hurt, because that symbol means something to me personally. And I'm getting like, this is something that a person who thinks they have good intentions, that they're causing a lot of havoc instead of actually correcting something. It's somebody going towards a situation and feeling like they're healing it or that they can help, but it literally is not doing that. Somebody who thinks they know what's going on, they're trying to make a difference, they just literally don't get it. They just really don't get it. They think they do, though. And they pull somebody in, and I'm getting like the Six of Air. Is the Six of Wands? No, the Six of Swords. If I'm just going with, like, this is just a dream catcher on there. And it says clarity, but I'm not really feeling that. I'm feeling more about somebody kind of like a little bit delusional about why they're getting involved in something else. I feel like somebody's going, like, I feel a very dream feel here. It's kind of like you think one thing's happening, and there is some truth to it, but it's kind of coded, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like, how dreams are coded. You can dream about, a red car going down a street and then turning into a bubble. And you're like, well, what does that mean? So you have to think to yourself, what does a red car mean? Do I know somebody with a red car? Like, are they traveling? Am I afraid that they're going somewhere that they're not planning for, or that they have the fantasy intentions? You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean? Like, it's coded. That's what I mean by coded. Or it's kind of like coming into something, not understanding what's really happening. I feel like this is, for most of you, this is you. For some of you, I understand that you might be this person who doesn't understand what's going on, but you think you do, and you think you're helping. For the majority of you, I think it's this, though. You're getting involved in something, and you don't really understand what you're actually being pulled into. Somebody thinks they're going to help you. Somebody thinks they understand your problems, and they're going to push you into a situation that they think is going to be good for you. they're literally pulling you into it, or they have in the past. It's almost like I feel like somebody might have like ambushed you in a way, almost like they thought they understood what was going on in your life, and maybe they thought you and somebody else weren't getting along, and they thought, well, if we just get everybody in the same room, we could talk it out. Meanwhile, they don't know that this person, was violent towards you, or had stolen from you, or had done something to you that was really underhanded, because it's just not something either you said, or they didn't realize, or whatever. They thought it was misunderstanding. That could be it too. Somebody who stole from you, this other person thought it was just a misunderstanding, but it was not a misunderstanding. That's actually what happened. So by this ambush happening, you kind of were like, you felt betrayed by this person. Like, how could they do that to you? They didn't understand what they were doing. They really got involved in something that they really didn't understand the ins and outs of. Imagination is going through this whole thing too, I know. Like, in the sense of, like, there's a lot here of, like, people thinking they know what's going on, but they keep filling in the blanks. It's kind of like, I get up, I'm going to have some toast for breakfast. At lunch, I need to drive Cheryl to the garage. And after dinner, I need to make sure I get this homework done. Or I got some work I got to get done, or emails. And it's kind of like, okay, so and then somebody else is hearing this. So you're going to have breakfast, you're going to go see Cheryl, and then you got some emails. And then they're filling in like, well, it must be like you're getting ready for something here. Like, why are you having breakfast? Like, and then what are you doing between breakfast? Like, somebody's filling in your day for you. Like, they think they know what you're doing. Like, oh, between breakfast and going to the garage, they must be doing this or they must be doing that. And then after they do that, I don't know, like, there's a lot of space in there. So they have a lot of times to do this and do that. So what is really happening with so-and-so? Like, this is the imagination card. Like, somebody's filling in blanks. This could be you thinking you know what's going on, or even more so this side is what I'm getting. But it is showing up at the top. Both sides seem like they think they know what's going on. They're filling in the blanks with, the most common or the most likely situation. But I don't feel like that's really fitting on either side. Both sides think they know where the other's coming from, and neither does. Neither really seems to. So I'm already starting to like feel like when it comes to this, reconsidering is a good idea, but I'm also getting like communication is really needing an improvement, needs an upgrade. It's kind of like you're using like an Atari system and you need to get onto more active or more current game systems. It feels that old to me. It's kind of like something like a calculator in the 70s compared to your phone. Like, I'm just saying, this is the difference between communication, where it is and where it should be. Beauty is telling me giving the other person a chance to understand you, and you also giving yourself a chance to understand them, and trying to get a little closer and like really trying to like evaluate what did happen and what did you think. Giving the other person a chance to realize that they misinterpreted some things, and then giving you an understanding too, giving them a chance to realize they literally thought they were doing something good. It just did not hit at all in that way. I'm getting torment for the other person too. It's somebody who was literally trying to fix a situation or help a situation. It backfired, and it feels to me like your absence in their life or something, they know it. They know that it backfired. And I feel like the torment card, this is usually the devil card in most decks, it makes them feel really a lot of emotional pain, really sad. They really want to fix this. They just don't think you're going to allow them to, is what I'm also getting. Maybe they're also not moving forward towards you because they're embarrassed because they know something went wrong and they don't want to make it any worse than it already is. But there's that torment feel. I do feel torment actually fits for this. Like they feel tied. They feel stuck. Like there's nothing they can do to fix it. In this situation, what should you reconsider? I feel like talking to this person and just giving them the opportunity to talk it out with you. Doesn't mean this is going to go back to where it was or not, but I'm feeling giving them the opportunity at the very least could give you some closure and give you some peace, and them too. This is better than you think. I feel like they're saying the intentions behind this is a lot better than you think. This person wanting to heal this is something maybe you're not expecting at all. The Son of Air comes in over here, which is very active communication. It can be a little bit playful, is what I'm also getting, kind of like a little bit jokey. Which could be okay. I also feel like that could release some tension here within respect. I mean, you know what I mean? To not make light of a situation, but to make it more easier to talk about, give it a chance. And right after this, I feel like when you see the Earth Mother over here, Mother of Earth, Earth Mother, Pentacle feel very much. If this is given a chance and the conversation does happen and you do reconsider this, there is a chance to solidify this. The thing is, I don't see this solidifying this person as a fixture in your life again, if they were. I feel like what they're saying is that's a possibility if you decide that's what you would like. But I do feel this person could stay in your life if you also decide. But it's like the rules and how things are worked and the communication and the flat out knowledge of like, don't ever make decisions for me and decide who I need to talk to. If you think that and you want to set that up, you need to talk with me and ask me if I want that. Do not decide that for me again. This could be also where, you know, you're on good terms with this person, but you just keep them at arm's length from now on. The Earth Mother tells me that that's going to be how it, if that's how you want it, then that's how it'll be done from here on out. But it won't be any animosity. It's just kind of like, you live your life, best life. We can hang out once in a while. I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but I don't want to hang out with you too much. But we can hang out once in a while. I don't think you're going to flat out say that, but you're just kind of like, you know, every now and then we can hang out. I feel like this could be like closure, resolution, you know, putting something to rest that maybe hurt you in the past that just kind of bothers you. This could be from a few years back, by the way. So if there should be somebody's name popping into your head, or maybe, you know, soon enough it will pop into your head. For some of you, I feel like this is a very painful situation that you maybe have not thought about in a few years, and you might have a dream tonight where it just kind of pops in your head what's actually been talked about. So just keep that in mind if you're still like, I have no idea who you're talking about. Sleep on it one night, see if somebody pops in your head, because you'll wake up in the morning thinking about somebody, and you'll probably be annoyed, like, oh yeah, that person just stabbed me in the back. That's who they're talking about. If you just give them a chance to talk it out, at the very least, you can get, you know, some closure so it doesn't bother you anymore. I think we're good. All right. That was for the rose quartz. Put these over there. Did I not have any... I think I put all the same. Yep, I see what I did. Huh. I was gonna say, I didn't think I had any of those spell cards. Then I was like, I realized I put them all in the same spot. Okay. Next one. Lapis Lazuli. Okay, let's move these over so you can see them. This is Lapis Lazuli. What is the message? Under pressure and dealing with a lot. In case you want to see it. The W is like W/, that's my with. With a lot. Dealing with a lot. Alright, just stay. Alright. Balance in the moon. What should I reconsider? Now, this isn't going to be for everybody this way. I understand that. I just feel like I need to say that every time. Just because I know some people come to these and they're like, well, that's not at all how this hits for me. So I'm saying just for some of you, this is going to hit in a romantic nature. And I feel like it's going to hit very strongly. Because I'm seeing the moon with the balance. Like, somebody was trying to balance out their life and they did want you in it. But I feel like the way you were receiving them, you didn't think that they felt strongly for you. Not as strongly for you as you do for them. And there's the mystery here about what's really going on. I feel like you might have even had some conversations, but the truth in a way that was really like this person didn't lie to you, but I feel like they didn't over-explain the challenges they're dealing with. They were their own personal challenges, and they didn't want to. They just flat out didn't want to, which had nothing to do with trust. They were just uncomfortable with a couple of certain things. They just didn't want to bring things forward. I feel like some of them felt like, you know, it sounds too whiny if they talk about all their woes and everything they have to deal with, and they don't want to come off like that. So they were trying to balance out a situation. What was really happening there, I feel like you didn't know. And then I'm getting like there seems to be like things went in a different direction. Even though that's the Ace of... Is this the Ace of Wands? It's not. It's the Nine of Fire. I feel like things kind of went in their own direction, or they kind of went to a standstill. Like... It's It's almost like maybe you were seeing this person for a while and then it just kind of dissipated. I don't know, just didn't go into the next phase. I don't know what to say. I don't see anything happening. It just kind of like people went in their own directions for a while. This is always a peculiar card in this deck for me because it looks like the Ace of Wands and it's not. It's definitely not the Ace of Wands. But it feels like it. It looks like it to me. Now, when I'm feeling that lightning there, though, there is interest there. But I don't feel like it's being actualized. I feel like something went on pause. Now, I know that everybody's going to have the romantic connection here. For others of you, you were trying to get something together with somebody else, and they just seemed like they weren't as... To you, it seemed like they weren't as interested, or they just didn't want to be bothered with you at the time. I'm getting there was a lot of distractions, and you just didn't know it. Under pressure and dealing with a lot. And they just weren't sharing it. So if it's not romantic, and for a number of you, it won't be. They're just saying the person you're asking about, you just didn't really understand why they didn't seem very interested to help you. I'm getting like a parent situation here for some of you too, oddly enough. Kind of like, you know, you needed some help, you needed to talk, and they just kind of brushed you off, or what do you call it? You know, just kind of moved on from it. You thought you told them to call you, you tried to get in contact with them a few times, and they just never seemed to find the time. They just never seemed to connected with you, and you needed to talk with them. And I'm feeling like that's very kind of like, do they not want to talk with me about this situation? Is there something wrong? Are they just avoiding the conversation? There's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. They're dealing with a lot. I'm just feeling like they're just walking away from one more problem. It really comes through like that. Like for now, they're putting it on pause. Their plates are so full. They're like, I can't put one more thing on it right now. So they're trying to just kind of let it, see if it'll just kind of heal itself, and then come back to it later if they have more time. I'm not sure, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying that's how it's coming through. What should I reconsider? Like, should you reconsider this? Because I feel like a lot of you are kind of like, should I keep going with this then? Like, does that mean I should give this another shot? Should I not? I'm not feeling this changing. I'm still not feeling this changing. Even if it's like a relative or a friend, if it's a lover situation, there's so much going on here that I feel like this person is not going to tell you. They just don't want to. They're not comfortable with it. You could flat out ask them, and I feel like they'd kind of walk around the situation a bit. Especially because it feels to me like, I feel like it's one of these, like, you know, if you look at somebody's desk and you open the drawers and there's work here, and you open this drawer, there's different work here, and there's something over here on this side. Then they got a little cabinet over to the left of their desk, and there's some stuff on there, and there's some stuff in there they got to deal with. They're like, if I just start going through this, like, it's going to depress me to tell you how much is here. And it's just kind of, it's going to look like a clown car. It's just like every time you turn around, there's one more coming out. So, I don't think they're going to tell you. I don't see this really changing. If you want to get closer to this person, or you want to talk to this person, whoever this is, I feel like you got to make it short and sweet, and just, I don't feel like they have a lot of time. I feel like they're overstressed. They're dealing with so much. There's so much going on with them. They don't seem to have a lot of time. There's a lot of pressure on them is what I'm feeling. And I just feel like whoever you're asking about here, or whoever's popping into your head, you might want to reconsider who you're trying to connect with and maybe go in a different direction for now. At least for now, because for the foreseeable future, I don't see this energy lifting. I don't see anything for you. Like, the will and the hunger reversed is saying, like, find a different way to get around this situation. I feel like for those of you, this is a lover. It depends. Like, if you're married to this person, I feel like that's difficult. It's kind of like, you know, if you want time with that person and they're just, right now, they're just overwrought. They can't do it. I don't know what to say about that. No matter what angle I try to take it in, I just feel like for right now, they can't do it. And it's just kind of like they're stuck in their own situation. They're not going to let you in, really. For you to release yourself from this is to find a different avenue to just release that stress. Find somebody else to confide in for now. If it's that type of situation, that really is alarming to me, because I'm like, well, you know, when you're in a relationship, you have to find a way to make time for each other to some level, to some respect. And I'm feeling like if this is a person you're thinking about or you're asking about and they're saying it's not going to change, maybe you got to evaluate what that really means and how long has this been going on for, and decide for yourself, what you need to do about that. Because literally, I'm getting the love spell reversed too. It's kind of like you're not, if it's a romantic connection, no matter what level, like dating, been together for a while, maybe living together, or some type of marriage version, whatever it may be, the Aphrodite's love spell being reversed is telling me that you're falling out of that. That interest for you is going to end sooner or later because you're not getting anything back from the other person. I just don't see it coming back. It's a general read. Take it with a grain of salt because I feel like that's kind of a downer, I know. But I'm feeling like you're going to give up because they just refuse to let you in. So reconsider. I don't know. I feel like they're saying maybe you're on the right path of what you're already thinking, and they're maybe just kind of giving you that reinforcement, like, no, you're seeing the truth here, and it's not going to change. Take it with a grain of salt. Think it out. Make sure you, like, these are general readings, even though it's a picker read. I'm just saying, think it out for yourself. Anything else with this? All right, I think we're good. Let's go on to the next one. Tiger's Eye. Okay. My brain just kind of goes slow every now and then. It's kind of like, what? Oh, this is going to be interesting. I can already tell. Tiger's Eye right there. This is the Seven of Pentacles, which is not usually how I read that card. Like I said, this deck has its own very unique flavors to it. But that does feel very kind of like the best times over with this situation, because I'm wondering. There's a downgrade. That's the first thing I'm coming to. I'm kind of shocked it's coming through that way. I don't know if this has to end completely. So whatever they're saying with reconsider, it's like whatever it's been in the past, it's kind of had its best time. When I'm seeing this picture, I'm feeling like, there was a point where that was beautiful and strong and so vibrant. And currently it's kind of like, it's so withered and it's like, it's so dark. But I feel like it was a beautiful thing. The thing is, it's like maybe in a previous time you felt very secure and uplifted by this person and vice versa, but I'm getting sovereignty reversed as kind of like that sanctuary is no longer there. That's what I'm feeling for this. It's almost like trying to go home again, like, you know what I mean? Like when you grew up in your teenage years, you lived with your parents and it felt a certain way. Responsibilities were different. Things that were important were different. Things are much different than they are now. It's kind of like you can't go home again type feel. That's kind of how that feels for me. Like you can go home again literally, but reliving that time of your life, like going through high school and having those type of friends and those type of responsibilities and worrying about band practice or soccer practice after school, that's not gonna happen again. Not the way it was. That's really not going to be the case. That's where we're starting. It's coming in here to the Daughter of Fire, which I like her a lot. Shy and nervous. When I'm feeling the Daughter of Fire, she has a very interesting feel here. I feel like she's the type of person kind of like, she doesn't look at something like, she doesn't stop and be like, do I want to do this? Do I don't want to do this? Should I do this? Should I not? Her energy seems to come into it like she's looking at a situation and she's like, well, that needs to get done, and she just does it. And she just kind of like, she doesn't look at it like at a mountain. She's just kind of looking at it like, well, other people are going to have to do some things too, but while I'm here, I need to do something because it's not going to happen unless somebody moves forward. And she just keeps going. Don't get caught up in the gender, but I'm feeling like this is somebody who just keeps going, like, let's just take care of it. Maybe I can't do it all, but I can do some, and I need to keep moving, and I'm going to take care of what I need to do. Attraction, 5 of Earth, 5 of Pentacles. And this is different. This is like looking at the history of a situation for me. Like this 5 of Pentacles, that's not usually a history card, but this is 5 of Earth. And they're giving something else, but I'm feeling a history here. A history here, and it's almost like trying to romanticize a connection, hoping it will come back, hoping something will be what it was before. You'll probably already notice the passion and strength are reversed here. But friendship, like friend is there. Friend is there, but not... You might notice that ship is kind of like the ship is gone. The ship has sailed. Sorry, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. The 4 of Earth makes me feel like... I don't feel like you're going to get that time back. Whatever it was in the past, whoever you're asking about, spouse, family member, friend, coworker, whatever you're looking at, I feel like the best times, I hate to say that because I know that sounds like a downer, but like this excitement in the past, I don't see it really repeating. I feel like it's kind of done. And it's hoping that it will come back, looking at the history of it, romanticizing it a bit, thinking, oh, it can come back, or maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, or maybe you're seeing the situation better than the other person. Maybe just you're seeing it better than the other person. You might be, and I know this is going to be kind of harsh. For some of you, I feel like they're saying you're looking at a situation and you're thinking it's better than it actually is. But you're romanticizing it is what I'm getting here. If you really sit down at a piece of paper and you really look at what's good with the situation, what do you really like, and when was the last time you really had that really euphoric feeling where you were actually involved in legitimately doing it? Like, for example, if you used to be in a band with this person and you used to play games with them and see them on every Friday night, how long has it been since that happened? When it used to be every Friday night, how long has it been? Has it been a couple months? Has it been more than that? And when it does happen, is it like a Friday once every 2-3 weeks or a Friday every 2-3 years? Like, how often does it happen? They're saying that this situation, it's better to see the truth of it. This person's still positive towards you. There's no negative energy coming from them towards you. Like, they're not doing that. I don't feel like you are either, but they're saying the situation has changed. It's evolved forward. They seem to be very stable with you, and not to be rude, because I know this is going to seem rude to somebody, and I apologize for that right ahead, but I feel like I got to say this. Some of you, you're married to this person, and the passion just isn't there anymore. It's just not. They instead of seeing you as a lover, they see you as a friend, which can be okay. But I don't know why they're pushing that forward, because it makes me a little nervous to say that. It makes me a little uncomfortable. I just feel like they still care about you, but it went from a lover to a friendship. That's what I feel. It just feels like whatever this is, it downgraded. There's no animosity, nothing really that bad, but like if this is something else where you're thinking of somebody who used to be your best friend, used to always hang out with them, it's kind of like instead of a best friend now, it's kind of like a friendship. It's still taking a downgrade, you know what I mean? If this was like a coworker, especially somebody, this is definitely hitting with somebody you were a coworker with, and when you were coworkers, you did great, and now maybe they get a promotion or they're off doing something else. They're not seeing that bond anymore. They're just kind of like, it went from being tight bonded to kind of like, we're good. Like, it's instead of being like this, it's kind of like, we're good. We're just not like this anymore. Like, we're not together that tightly, but we're still good with each other. It's taken a downgrade. They're saying if you want to reconsider this, what you might want to reconsider is what actually this relationship is now. That's all. Just so you understand where you stand. Are we good? Alright, I feel like that's the message for that one. Okay. I've had the hiccups the last 3 days. It's driving me crazy. At least it's not constant. It just happens randomly throughout the day. Just hiccup. It's great. Alright, let's see. What do we have for the last one? Actually, let me get this out of the way. The last one is the green calcite. Where are you, green calcite? There you are. Green calcite. There's that. Alright, what should you reconsider? Or should you reconsider? What's the message? Feeling the same, just expressing it differently. Alright, so feeling the same, just expressing it differently. I apologize for my writing. I know it's what it is. It is what it is. 5 of Swords. That's a weird feel here. I do feel like there's conflict, but that's not really what the 5 of Swords would be like for me. I'm just waiting to see if something else pops in, because it feels like it's kind of like backing off energy. It's kind of like, why am I here energy. The 8 of Swords there, 8 of Air in this. I feel frustration with that. I feel like there's been a little bit of... I feel like there's been a bit of a conflict between these two. The sword, like, I'm not going to read them as swords because it doesn't feel that way to me. I understand there's words here and you can do what you want with those. But what I'm getting is conflict, frustration, looking at a situation and kind of like wanting to back off or wanting to back away, not wanting to really deal with the situation anymore. Just the need to just kind of walk away and just pick up your stuff and go. Somebody wants to leave. I'm already getting that. So I'm an intuitive reader, so this is what I'm going with, because that's what I'm really feeling. I don't really feel for those words so much, but I guess those words do fit in their own way. So do what you want with that. The vision quest here, freedom. Somebody wants... I feel like you both kind of want freedom, just to be fair. Maybe the situation has just kind of like become so heavy that it's like both sides are like, can we just free ourselves from this? It feels like there's a very tight bond here, or a very tight history. A very tight history is what I'm getting. There's a lot here that was built upon, but I feel like both sides of the party kind of want to go on. They just want to go on. I feel like you kind of want to go on your own, and so don't they. At the very least, you both might feel like it's going to take a lot of work to do anything with this, and it's looking like a very daunting task to start with, and I just feel like both of you would rather move on from it. The safe home protection reversed and the faith reversed. It's kind of like not feeling like there's a lot to really bring back here, or kind of like there's a lot of effort to sustain a situation that could happen, but it would be just to sustain it. And I feel like what both sides need to come together with in confidence is like just to be honest where they both stand. I feel like if this is really hitting, it's something where you're kind of like, I don't even know if I want to be a part of this situation anymore. I just feel like I don't know if this is for me. And a lot of you, I know this is going to hit in a work situation where you're like, yeah, I kind of been feeling that way, but I don't really know what to do about it just now. If this is hitting that way, they're saying that the other side is feeling the same way. Like, you might be ready to go, but they might be ready for you to go as well, which I don't know what that says, but if you're both in the same page, maybe it's time to start looking somewhere else before you're pushed into a position where you need to look for something else. I'm just saying. Having the confidence to take the next step forward is what I'm feeling with this. What should you reconsider? Just continuing on the same path. I feel like a lot of you just kind of went with this one just to see what it would say. I mean, definitely some of you had somebody in mind. Cool. That's great. But for some of you, I feel like you're just kind of like, what should I'm not even sure what to think about this. I'm feeling it has a lot to do with work for a lot of you. Like, you're just not really uplifted in that area. And you're just kind of like, I just feel like I need to go a different direction. But I'm sticking here because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. And they're saying, you know what? The other side's feeling the same way. And before you're shown the door, why don't you find something else so you can comfortably move on, accept where this next phase is going before the next phase just forces itself in on you. That's another kind of harsh one in my opinion. It's a general read. Take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't have to mean that for you. I'm just saying, especially if you click this and you're just like, well, I just want to see what it has to say. I'm feeling like for a lot of you it's work. I really do. For some of you, maybe it's an organization or like a side, what do you call those things? Like a hobby? Not a hobby. You know, like there's an organization outside of work, or maybe there's an organization inside of work. Maybe like For example, Toastmasters. I don't know why we're going there, but here you go. Maybe you're a part of something at work and it's like an elective thing, like there's an elective meeting or elective group or elective situation that you're not really wanting to be a part. Maybe you're okay with your job overall, but there's this one piece of it that you're like, I'd really like to get out of it because it really just, it dampers my day. Maybe they're saying, you know what, the other side probably feels the same way. Maybe you want to have a meeting with the correct person to see if there's an option for you to get out of it. You might find there's an easier way to get out of this section than you thought there was. For some of you, I really feel that too. Like there's like, it's a work thing, but it's like a component of work. Like maybe there's a committee or a little part of something or a part of a job. Like maybe it's like going downstairs and dealing with the public and you don't like doing it. And people are like, yeah, we can tell. Not to be rude, because you know if that's you or not. Like, you know, if you don't like dealing with people, and you probably realize people know that. Maybe it's time to talk that out with somebody and see, like, is there a way I can kind of transition away from that? You know, is there a way? Because I feel like the other side's going to be like, yeah, we were thinking that's a good idea too. Anything else? I think that was good. I think this came through. That was a hard question. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this question. It seems a little bit harsh, but it came back to me today, and I was like, all right, I'll go for it. Let's see what happens. Let's see where it goes. All right, well, thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.